Hi, I'm Richard Byrne. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create your first Google form. Let's go ahead and take a look at how to do this. So first of all, I'm right now at google.com and I'm not signed into my Google account at all. And I want to get to Google Forms. There are two ways that I can do that. The first way is to go in the upper right corner here and look at the list of Google apps and scroll down until I see Forms and then click on it. Alternatively, I can go to my address bar and type in forms.google.com and that will take me to a sign-in page. And you can see I'm currently signed out of my Google account. I'm going to sign back into my Google account. And I'm using a Google Workspace account. And that's important to note simply because there are some minor differences if you're using a Gmail account. But if you're using a Google Workspace account issued to you by your school or your employer, you're going to want to follow all these steps. Now, let's go ahead and create our first form. It's important to note we're creating a form here. We're not creating a quiz. I'll show you how to create a quiz in the next video in this series. Let's go ahead and give our form a title. Let's call it our Practice Google Form. And you can see there, once I click over here, it's retitled. Let's give it a form description and say, this is just a practice form. And you'll notice there that I do have some minor formatting options, like the option to bold and italicize and underline my text, and even include a hyperlink if I want. I'm going to leave that all blank. This is just a practice Google form. Now, it's important to note here that this form is automatically collecting email addresses from all respondents. And that is a setting that's been turned on by my Google Workspace domain administrator. I'm going to change it so that anyone can access this form and respond to it. So let's go in here and you can see in my settings, I have a response tab and I'm not going to collect email addresses for this one. And you can see send responders a copy of the response is now turned off because I have not collected email addresses. And you can see by default, my domain administrator has restricted the form to users within the domain. I'm going to turn that off so that if I want to share this with, let's say, the parents of my students, I can do so even if they don't have a Google Workspace domain from our organization. So now I'm going to go back to the questions and we'll see that it's no longer collecting email addresses. If I want to go back in and turn that on, I can go back to the settings, go to responses, and turn that setting back on. You say responder input, and then they can put in any old email address they want, or again, do not collect. So now let's go to questions. And let's put in our first fun question here. And our first question is going to be your name, because I do want to know who is responding to my form. I'm going to put in that question of your name. And we'll see I have that in short answer format. For that kind of question, that is the best option. You could use multiple choice, I suppose, if you had a long list of names, but I'm not going to do that. Let's add another question. And here we're going to say something like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how did you feel that this school year went for your child? And I'm going to change this from 1 to 5 to 1 to 10. Very badly. extremely well. Now let's add another question. What would you change about the school day if you could change anything? And you can see there, I could put it in paragraph format. I could do multiple choice if I wanted to and say, the lunch schedule, the bus schedule, the handling of snow day notifications, or other, and then people can fill in whatever they want to fill in there about what they would change about the school day. Now I have my 3 questions, and you can see there I can continue to add more and more questions, but other videos in this series will show you some of those other question formats. So now let's take a look at how do we send this out to people to complete. Well, click the send button, and you can see again I have collect email addresses, do not collect. And I can email this out if I have a list of emails of people I want to send this to. And I can include that form directly in the email so they can fill it out right in their inbox without having to click a link to visit it externally. I can just grab a link and post it wherever I would want, including on social media. Or I can use the embed code to include the entire form inside a web page. If you're familiar with how to embed a YouTube video into a web page, the process is exactly the same for a Google form. And now let's take a look at how somebody would fill out this form. So as the owner of the form, I'm going to preview, and we'll see your name filled in. There's Bob. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel this school year went for your child? You can see there's our rating. I'll put in a 7. And I'm going to put in the handling of snow day notifications. It's something I would change. And then submit it. And we'll see here, there's an option to submit another response. And they can fill it out again. And maybe this is Tom who fills it out and puts in a scale. Tom wants to change the lunch schedule. And submit it. Now, we will see in our response tab the responses as they've come in, the names, how they've scaled the school year, and what they would change, all right there in that response tab. But if I wanted to view all the data that I get collected through this form in one place, I could open this in a new Google Sheet. Then I'll have a spreadsheet that gets updated every time a new submission is made. And I can just refresh that spreadsheet to view the responses. And often, looking at the spreadsheet is a lot more convenient than looking at the summary responses. So that's how you can create your first Google form. In the next video in this series, I'll show you how to create your first quiz using Google Forms. As always, for more things like this, please subscribe to my YouTube channel or visit freetech4teachers.com.